Hey, this is Beast 1210, and this video is actually going to be about my dogs pack and kind of its importance. Did a lot of research on this pack. Rough wear seemed to be the best. I've got some friends in search and rescue, and they don't use necessarily the pack itself, but the actual harness for this pack is so sturdy. He has one coming around his chest bone, and there's actually two that goes one around the sternum and one around his belly. And it's just one of the best thought out designed packs for dogs that I've seen. It's got a nice felt piece that comes around the bottom, so there's no rubbing. But not only is there a good couple attachment points, there's a handle built into them. For whatever reason, my dog's pretty big, but I can still pick him up by this, and he isn't injured by it, whether it's carrying him over something he's not supposed to be through, whatever the case might be. A lot of the search and rescue guys just use this harness by itself with some light beacons and whatnot on them, and it's just super great. You could, carry the dog by it, and that was one of my reasons for going with the rough wear pack for the dogs. He has a larger dog, so he can carry some larger stuff. Obviously, I carry the water or whatnot that needs to be, but he will carry a lot of his own stuff. Just a quick going over some stuff. He does have his own boots. These were not very expensive. These were $14. They do make some really expensive ones. Make sure they fit. The biggest thing is going over the boots. Central Oregon has a lot of lava rock. Their pads will just get shredded on a lot of the lava rock and stuff. So he will wear these boots, and in the wintertime, the snow between their pads can really drop their temperature. One of the great things about having a dog with you is not only from the animals to warding off a lot of the things that are out there, their body temperature is higher, and really it's been in the wintertime, you're in a tent, and he is pumping out all that heat. I've rarely had a cold night with when I've got him with me, and it's quite nice. The other reason I carry the boot is one of the biggest injuries to dogs while they're out in the wilderness is going to be their feet. One of the hardest things to wrap or cover to keep clean is going to be their feet. He's gotten a couple injuries to his pads when they didn't have the boots on, just doing normal hiking, whether it be some glass at a campsite from some idiots that left some glass bottles and thought it'd be fun to smash them everywhere. One of the things I do is in a pinch, you take a sock, throw it over there, and you duct tape it up, as long as you put a boot on it to help keep it a little bit cleaner and a little bit drier. But I talked about the dog's first aid kit a little bit. You're never going to get a Band-Aid to stick to a dog. You're never going to get a lot of the regular human first aid things to work. Just important to keep it clean, keep it dry, and so that's kind of where the sock comes in, and it's just kind of an improvised method. Obviously, water bowl, food bowl, carries his own food. I've discussed on the forum also, quality of your dog's food is extremely important. I was pretty ignorant about the fact for dogs' food for quite some time. Had some friends that worked for vet offices, and as they described, for any sort of surgery or emergency, the doctor could literally tell you what brand the dog had been eating by looking at the actual organs of the dog. And the other thing is just keep it changed up. You wouldn't want to be fed the same thing every day for the entire life, and it's not good for them. They can develop allergies due to it. So one of the ones that I use, there's a couple stores up here in Seattle, and like I said in my forum, I originally thought it was for the the yuppie dogs and the ones that wear the cute little sweaters and all that kind of stuff. And then I really came to realize the quality of the food is important. And once I got into that realm of the food for the dogs, and then I started realizing he's eating better than I am. And you look at the ingredients that a lot of this stuff is made of, and you talk to the people that know more than I do about the stuff, and it's all human grade food. It's not the bottom of the barrel grains and the stuff that they're not using, and wood chips and all that kind of filler that a lot of the other ones do. There's actually less waste of the animal out in the yard due just to the fact that they're only eating. He's a 90-pound dog, and he eats two cups a day. He eats more than that, and he's still skinny as a fish. and it's retarded. But just due to the fact that you don't need to feed him 5 cups a day just to get the nutrients out of some of those lower end dog product of foods, it's all going to end up in your yard anyway. And so I've always, as part of my long-term plan, has been including dog food, not only for him, but it's a nice dry, long storage possibility for protein. The one he's got right now is like salmon and bison, and with potatoes, and that's literally like the first 5 ingredients is salmon, bison, brown rice, potatoes. I mean, it's not like, salmon meal and all the lower end products that are left on the bottom of the floor of the warehouses when they're making food. It's also important, any medications. He actually blew his cruciate ligament, so I keep his medication with him. He's got several days worth of food. There's an extra leash, same little silly light I talked about earlier, kind of electronic tea candle. There was a gentleman on the forum who admitted recently of taking his kids out, and the kid fell in the river and then dragged his keys and his cell phone in there. One of the things he does, also this is it's a neoprene vest. It's mostly for hunting dogs, but it adds a nice warm coat. He loves the water, and he will literally shiver himself to death in it, and this adds at least a half hour to him, and it also increases his flotation, so he doesn't have to work as hard. It's great because the rivers up here are always nasty and cold. He does have a electronic collar system, just keeps me in tabs. A lot of people are against these sort of shocking collars. They are usually for sportsman type dogs. Essentially, this thing has about a half-mile range, and essentially it's like having a half-mile leash. It's not going to get tangled up in trees or anywhere. It's waterproof. And the other thing is it has a paging feature. It vibrates like a pager or a cell phone, and he's trained to come on that command. So I don't have to worry about him wandering off to try and find something. I just give him that page feature, and he comes and tracks me back down. So it's a useful thing. He will always have a spare key to the truck, and a lot of things like that you don't need to carry with you. If for some reason you fall in the river and you lose your pack, you got to be able to have some other stuff. So not only do I carry stuff for him, but he carries stuff for me as well. And part of that is his tiny little first aid kit has emergency information for me, obviously, if he gets lost. But if you notice in here, I exchanged that iodine smaller piece so he can have a smaller one in here. It has that same wood, the wax cardboard with the cordage on it. It has the same 1, 2, 3 lithium batteries in it. The dog bags, the water purification, the cotton balls, the matches, the lighter for starting fires. If your stuff gets lost or wet or ruined, it's a great way to have a backup. And if you're going out solo, a lot of times I end up going by myself out in the woods. Just due to the fact of my schedule, I work at a restaurant, and a lot of people get the weekends off, and I get weird random days in the middle of the week off. And anyway, he is my hiking partner, and it's a great way to get you both out into the woods, and he's able to carry his own stuff minus the water weight. It's just too heavy to really make a difference. Up here in the Northwest, there's usually water sources quite a bit everywhere, so it doesn't have to worry about it. But he has his food, he has his first aid kit, he has the products that he needs, and like I said, he's got your backup.